And without further ado, Mr. Jesus, the Jesus Carpenter, straight from the Philippines. His name is Jesus, for Christ's sake. Have fun.
Give Righteous a hand. Righteous. How about that? I thought my parents screwed me. Literally, I was born with the name Jesus Guillermo Carpenter. My name is Jesus. And his name is really Righteous Jolly. I thought my parents didn't love me, but obviously, yeah, someone won in that category. And for years, I've kind of blamed my parents. I used to think that that's why I've been unemployed for 3 years, is because it's hard. It's a weird name. But I've been unemployed for 3 years, and what is this, the second? 32 days. Turns out 32 days ago, I found a spelling error on my resume. And ironically enough, it was the word detail in the statement, I am known for my attention to detail. I wish that was not a true story. Like, I really, I sent this out to every company I wanted to work for badly. And then I did change it, and which is good. With this economy is changing, so I actually did get a job interview. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago Monday was my first job interview in a long time. And now you have to take written tests. Have you seen this? Like, people are given written tests at job interviews. I can barely pass a drug test, let alone a written test. I have something called dyslexia. Don't worry, front row, you will not catch this. It's a learning disability, which is kind of odd because kids these days don't have disabilities. They have, what do they have? Conditions, I think they're called. Like, I always confuse it because it's something I usually would put into a contract or my hair, right? But they have conditions like what? Like obsessive compulsive condition or whatever, OCD, which is what is that, abbreviation, right? How nice for them. Kids like me who struggle with spelling, they gave us the word dyslexia. Yeah, that's not ambiguous at all now, is it? People, it is spelled like a ghetto girl's name. You actually wiggle your head when you say dyslexia, you know? And I don't even think if those kids were really so obsessive that they would even use OCD, an abbreviation, because, I mean, it's not even in alphabetical order now, is it? No. And the worst part is I told this, and I was at a show like 2 weeks ago, and someone was just like, excuse me, OCD is not an abbreviation, it's an acronym. I lost my mind. I'm like, lady, I just told the audience that I have a learning disability. You know, I was the kid who took the short bus to school because I could not spell short bus in school. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, what was this? What does she do on weekends? Like, try and trip blind people or make Down syndrome kids cry, you know? But then it hit me, maybe I was just taking my aggression out on her because I thought acronym was a city in Ohio. They didn't teach geology in my school. Geography in my school. Jesus. But people correct me all the time now. Like, seriously, it's because spelling is something people do all the time. Before, it was something people did in school. But now they're playing words with friends. You know, they're texting, they're Facebooking, you know. I actually had someone correct me on Facebook. They said that I was abusing ellipses. I had no idea what they're talking about. I just wrote back, I'm like, I don't even know her, ... And then I realized that was funny because ... was in ellipses. How about that? I wrote my first joke like that, you know? But, and the thing is I'm not embarrassed about being dyslexic. Actually, there's a lot of incredibly talented, amazing dyslexics out there. Did you guys know that Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, also dyslexic. Edgar Allan Poe was a dyslexic. Even the stripper at my brother's bachelor party, and not only was she just dyslexic, dyslexia was her stripper name. Isn't that cool? She had a goal in life. She wanted to put the sexy back in dyslexia. I was impressed, but I was even more impressed because I realized that she was full-on pregnant at the time. You know, which I was just like, oh my God, you're not just a role model for dyslexics like myself. She is now a role model for single women everywhere. You know, showing you can balance both your career and your family, you know. In her case, it was on a pole, you know. Well, until the accident. Well, all right, you know what? Some people call it an accident. I called it a finale because Within 3 turns on that pole, she was able to turn a very boring bachelor party into a baby shower like this. It was amazing. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen. Like, all that was left behind was like glitter and placenta. No. This was West Philadelphia. Glitter and placenta were the other strippers. Glitter and placenta. We had to take Lexi to the hospital. Come on. And and just so you know, she had the most adorable, healthy, beautiful little baby girl you'll ever see. And I honestly think only a dyslexic stripper in North Philadelphia can name their child Dolores, but spell it $IS. I call her Little Monies. I wish that was a nickname, because sadly enough, that's what I think her future earning potential will be with that name, Little Monies. So I have been a little bit depressed on being unemployed, and I wish I was like my friends where you can like smoke pot or do shots. My happy place is not that. Like I actually have to go to like really bad neighborhoods to get into my little fix. And what I'm talking about is ghetto fried chicken. Have you ever? Ghetto fried chicken. And I'm not talking ghetto adjacent fried chicken. That Popeye stuff, or no. I'm talking a shack that has never changed the oil once since that building was built. They fry everything in it. Chicken, fish, fries, rodents, everything, you know? You have not had chicken unless you ordered it through 3 inches of bulletproof glass, you know? Surrounded by like thugs and hoes, you know? And like what cracks me up is they do things like, it's not even a question of if you want hot sauce, it is how many hot sauce you want with that, you know? And it turns out there's a magic number. Number 1, 0 is not an option. 2 is too few. 4, you're a greedy motherfucker. It's 3. 3 is the magic number. And it turns out you actually have to, if you're gonna eat in, you have to use it there. You know, you have to. They watch you, you know? But I learned a lot about myself in that shack in West Philadelphia. One of the most important things I learned is that random black men feel the need to inform me that I look like Larry Bird. It's not a compliment. Not a compliment. No, not looking like Larry Bird is not a compliment. Like if I was at the gym and they said I shot like Larry, compliment, right? But like, I don't even think Larry Bird wants to be informed that he looks like Larry Bird. It's just not fortunate. And then I'm sitting there and I want to belong. Like it's like 2 a.m, you know, everyone's like bitching about their day. The hoes couldn't make enough money to buy condoms. The thugs, they were complaining about, even if they mug you, there was no money in the wallets because it's a bad economy. So I wanted to fit in. I'm just like, oh my God, I know. I had to take a cash advance just to pay my cleaning lady. And they're like, boy, you got white boy problems. Let me just start off. That was a Latino woman problem until I came in and paid 14.5% interest for that. I only got 3 flyer miles. Oh, wow, now that it comes out of my mouth, it does sound kind of white boy problem, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, I'm not like that kind of white. I grew up white trash. Well, no. Actually, no, we were redneck. We became white trash. It turns out there's a category, there's an arc. You know, like rednecks are like racist, you know? White trash are evolved, you know? Like we became white trash when my brother brought home his black girlfriend. And my mother was so thrilled, but my father, they handled it very differently. My father was like, oh my God, she's black. Your grandfather would roll over in his grave right now. Did the neighbors see her come in our house? But my mother's like, oh my God, she's black. Your grandfather would just roll over in his grave right now. Did the neighbors see her come in our house? My mother was like so happy. She finally has a chocolate chip in the batter. You know, she's talking about how beautiful the grandchildren would be. You know, and the worst part is she was showing her off. Like she was like taking her to church and Walmart and all the important places, you know? And then she finally caught on. My brother's girlfriend's like, wait a minute, you're using me. Like she finally realized she was more than just a hood pass. My mother was treating her like a hood ornament, you know, to show off, you know? Which it's sad because they were together for like 5 years and they recently broke up. And it was hard when someone's been part of your life for so long to just erase them from it. Like, what I'm saying is we're going to miss my brother, you know. We're not losing our status, people. You know, we worked hard to keep her around. And my brother's an idiot. My brother's just an idiot. Like, all right, perfect example. The same guy that would wear rubber gloves for sexting, for safety. Yeah, it's an idiot, right? He was online dating recently, and he was doing that. He was doing like really well, like to the point where we had to ask questions. He's bringing home 8s and 9s. You know, my brother's like a 3. All right, maybe a 4 if he stayed on his medication, right? So I had to ask him, like, dude, what are you using? Like eHarmony, Match.com, you know, like Craigslist, the good ones. And he's just like, nah, bro. Now, let me just say right now, because this is real life. I wish I was able to write this. He goes, no, bro, H-Date. I'm like, what the hell is H-Date? It's a website for people with STDs. He calls it hotties with herpes. I swear to God this exists. And I'm like, what's their tagline? Like, when you're sore for love? Like, what is this? Like, is it sponsored by Valtrex? You know what I mean? And then it hit me. This is the first moment in my entire life I thought my brother was smart. He actually found a website where women who are beautiful were damaged enough to lower their self-esteem to his level, you know? And he's like, nah, bro. Nah, I've always been attracted to women with herpes. I'm like, how does that even happen? Like, how? And he's like, because every woman I've slept with has it. I was like, technically that makes you the man. He goes, yeah, I'm the man. Like, he's strutting around the house. I'm like, no, bro, you're the man giving it to them. The word is patient X, you know what I mean? Like, he's the guy who has to end phone calls with get tested. Like, that's my brother. But if you think about it, there's a website now for anything you want. You can even mix your fetishes. Like, how many people have actually online dated in this room? Honestly, not even Craigslist. 1, 2 people, there we go. We got 2 online daters. See, you can get anything, people, anything you want now. Like, say you have say you have a fetish for candles, but you also want someone to make you feel bad about yourself. Found a website just for that. ChristianMingle.com, have you seen this one? Could you imagine that tagline? Who would Jesus do, right? And for our Jewish friends, there's J-Date. That's if you hate foreskin but find a 401k sexy. And my favorite one, this was on the news recently, it was called Manhunt. You ever hear of something like that? Manhunt.com. It's where lonely Republican senators find out the true meaning of teabag party. Manhunt. Jesus. So my brother cleaned up his act and his penis, and he met this new girl who has something way worse than herpes. She has energy, like a lot of it. She's on perky level. Like, she's like, perfect example, her name is like Kelly with like an I, because she's like interesting, like get it? She says it like that every time she says her name. Is there a Kelly with an I in this room? Do you have a friend like that? I see someone shooting you. Do you spell your name? Do you spell your name? Are you a speller? Oh my God, and get this. Always the white chicks. What's your name? What's your name?
I have an explanation.
They always do?
No, I really do.
What is it?
My parents just started spelling that way when I was like in 3rd grade, and it stuck
How do you spell your name?
with an I.
Oh, no. Always the white girls. Like, the funny part is his ex-girlfriend, Shaniqua, not once did she spell her name. And I could have used the help, people. 4 silent P's. You know, the use of the number 7, and a 1 letter I. Oh, that's adorable. Kelly was actually, and when you're surrounded by this all the time, when someone's always spelling their name for you, it rubs off on you. Like, I introduced myself twice as Jess with an S, like an idiot, you know? I actually went out one night, I asked for some tea with an A. I got a smack in the face from a barista, you know? Jesus, that is funny. There's always one in the crowd. But she does. No, that's how she says it every single time she says her name. Kelly would like it because I'm interesting. And she always does the I and then a word with an I that matches it. I'm interesting. I'm ironic. Blah, blah, blah. Get it? No, I don't get it. Because she talks like a Valley girl. She's not even from, like, the Valley. She's from, like, the Delaware Valley. You know what I mean? Never understood that. Jesus, that's awesome. God. So I'm going to end with this one. You guys all know Doc, who's in the show tonight? Doc and I haven't talked for 2 years because of a rap song, and I'm very happy that I'm on the show with Doc for this. Let me just explain real quick. The song is Soulja Boy had a song called Superman, and it's the main line is "Wah me crank that soldier boy." Now Superman dat hoe, right? And I didn't understand what it meant. It turns out, according to the Urban Dictionary, supermaning is a verb. And it's, oh my God, Doc, I can't believe. It's when you ejaculate on the back of a sleeping or passed out hoe, right? There's more. You lay a sheet on her back so when she wakes up, it's stuck like a cape. Hence you Superman dat hoe. I found this to be like sexist and demeaning and horrifying. This is like the worst thing you do to a woman, right? And I was thinking about, what about those poor hoes? So I was just like, well, I was raised a Christian. What would Jesus do? It hit me. He would level the playing field. He would make sure this was not a sexist act. So what I did is I recreated the situation, but I did it to a sleeping dude. That's how I sacrifice, people. That's how I sacrifice. Now, I didn't have a sheet. All I had was a pillowcase. So I laid that down. Now, let me just say, and I know you're all wondering, yes, it does stick. It really looks nothing like Superman. Actually, it looked like a really pissed off version of Robin from Batman with the short cape. So I call it the Robin. Now, I'm not really sure this is ever going to make the Urban Dictionary or not, but one thing I know for sure is Doc is never going to crash on my couch again. That's my time. Thank you very much.
Very nice. Give it up for Jess, please. That's as a guy who knows what he's doing up here with his comedy.